Must come home to see that.
What the f***? What, you just walked by me?
Is that the camera? Okay, this is James, the American Paranormal Investigative Team. I'm here with the homeowner, and I'm going to ask if she gives us permission to have her on camera and videotape during this interview. Do we have your permission?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much. So let me get started here. And then take your time to think about, your thoughts about it. This can be very excitable, right? I mean, you feel a lot of emotions and energy that just can be overwhelming, especially depending on the level of activity you're having. So don't feel like you have to rush to the answer. Okay. Think about it and then let me know what your answers might be. I'll just confirm a couple of things. We're going to keep location out of it in our videos that we will produce. We're not going to mention the location or the last name of the family. We'll kind of go from there, but we'll keep everything discreet as possible. Start by telling me your age and how long you've been in this home.
I'm 50 and I've been here for 5 years.
Okay. And who occupies this home with you?
Me and my 2 sons and daughter.
Okay. And then what are the ages of your kids that live here today?
22, 18, and 15.
18 and 15. So that's son, daughter?
Yep, son, okay. Yep, son, daughter.
2 things here that are kind of prevalent or important right now. One is you mentioned feeling activity or having some sort of sensitivities to things quite some time ago. Describe that to me real briefly, kind of where that started.
Well, like you said, when I was younger, at the invisible friend, it was a girl. I don't remember the name though. My mom tells me about it. And then I'd see things like at my grandparents' house or whatever.
So this started with an invisible friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. About how old roughly would you say?
Oh my gosh. 2nd grade-ish, maybe?
6, 7 years old?
Yeah. And then I had somebody come like out of my closet and when we lived in and wanted me to come with him. I don't know what that was. And then he went, I yelled for my mom and then he went into the closet and was gone.
Roughly the same age, we'd say, okay. And then if we fast forward, about 36 years old in Uppsala, you mentioned some activity there. Just briefly describe that too.
There was, like I said, this old lady voice that would say hello. Once in a while, you would smell roses or whatever, so I always called her Rose. Even in the wintertime when the windows are, plastic and everything, you could still catch the smell.
Now, in the initial notes I have here, there was about 2-3 months ago when activity started ramping up. You were stating a date of March 27th.
March 27th.
Is there a particular reason why that date stands out to you?
That's the day that I saw somebody walk past the refrigerator.
Prior to that, nothing.
No, we hear footsteps. I was cleaning in here and I heard somebody like walk into the bathroom and I thought it was my daughter and she was in her room.
So hi everybody, I am Lily McNamara with Lily of the Light, and as Jimmy said, I am a psychic medium and I have 20 years.
Being today April 11th, what would you say From the earliest experience of March 27th till now, describe kind of each event in that timeline if possible. It doesn't have to be great detail, just what was experienced at the high level.
Well, I was in bed and I felt something climb on top of me, and it was heavy. It was heavy, but it was like where it was kind of hard to breathe or whatever. It was hard to move. Oh God. That incident.
So I'm experiencing like a choking sensation in my throat chakra, and so not a fan of this room. And it's not claustrophobic, it's just very, yeah. So out of all the rooms, I would say this one has the most energy in it right now. And before we walked into this room, the energy just felt stuck and clogged, and it almost feels like it's draining into this room, which is just causing too much, to the point where it's too much.
What would cause that in your experience?
It can be a lot of different things. So sometimes when we get things from Goodwill or secondhand or an antique store, we bring that energy with us. A lot of times when we store a bunch of stuff without cleansing it, that can cause an accumulation of energy. It also happens when there's lots of arguing or like tension in a home, and then it just rests somewhere. I've been in homes where that's like the bathroom, and other rooms where it's like a bedroom.
Okay.
So those are some of the ways that it can happen. But really, energy does what it wants, and we just honor it.
A lot of stuff just downstairs. You would hear voices. Cold, really, really, really cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of space over here that I want to look at.
Sure.
We're gonna be through. See, and the same energy that was in that bedroom, and this is the shared wall, is the same here.
Okay.
So it looks like it's just this whole side of the house.
Okay. Now, the living room is right above us, so it doesn't appear to come through to the living room, or is it the different
I
energy?
didn't get much in the living room, no.
Okay.
And well, energy can move through things. It can sit in one spot, like designated to a room, and then it kind of like bleeds out a little bit, but it doesn't have to like expand to fill a whole house. Like
Sure.
you can have a negative room, the whole house doesn't have to be negative.
Okay.
Would you say that these experiences are on a nightly basis? Do you notice where there's a lull and you don't get anything?
They were, it was nightly for about 4 or 5 days, and then after, oh God, that one incident happened, then I've been sleeping upstairs.
It started moving upstairs?
No, I started
You started sleeping upstairs, that's right, my bad.
It's been 4 days now.
And you've been sleeping upstairs for the last 4 days. Are you experiencing anything yourself physically or any other way upstairs?
No.
So it's safe to say you feel it's located downstairs.
It's very much downstairs.
So when I go silent, I'm just processing and feeling the energy of the room. I can't talk and do that at the same time. I'm not quite that talented, can't walk and chew gum, you know? The energy in this room is very off. Like, it almost feels like it's leaning. And that makes me very not comfortable. So I think this room will be something to explore more when we go through.
It was mentioned that there's a possibility other activity or entities may be increasing here, right? There's one that you felt was for sure, but there may be more. Can you describe what?
Wait, what do you mean?
More different entities or activities or spirits.
But there's a girl. You can hear her say, "Help me." That's on here. And then that then I hate talking about that.
If you're comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with.
It's that incident downstairs or whatever. That was I don't know how to explain it, but there was three different things.
I can go outside for a
No,
minute.
it's like it doesn't matter. It's gonna be hard to. It's just hard to talk about.
So you would say there was three
There was three
different beings or entities?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is your biggest concerns right now?
That the physical, it's getting physical with me. That's number one, and then the second is that I have a daughter, and I don't want anything happening to her.
Now, your son, though, I think you mentioned he's had more experiences.
And then it's funny because his room was downstairs when he got those scratches.
Oh, so he was downstairs staying there when he got the scratches?
Back. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. There's something wonky in this corner to the point where my stomach is like fluttering. Like it's hard to catch my breath now.
Okay.
Okay. So someone's gonna be camped in this corner.
Okay. I noticed there was, I don't know what that is, but there's something hanging above the door there.
So that is a broom, and I'm not gonna take it down because someone else put it up.
Yeah.
But normally brooms are used for cleansing and protection, and a lot of times that is actually with cinnamon. And again, I'm not gonna take it down and smell it because it's someone else's protection.
Yeah.
But those are very common
Okay.
to have. A lot of times you'll put them like in the corner, but above doorways, above windows. That is a good place to use protection and warding.
Yeah, and that's an important statement to make, is the family contacted us because the activity they've been feeling has been ramping up for quite a few months now. And they had tried their own measures, their countermeasures to go
Yes.
through what they were experiencing. So that would totally make sense. And they've told us they've tried using sages and crystals and different items, which is how we're here today, actually. So
Yeah, and that's always good. You can always try home remedies. And it's also, for some people, important to remember, like, astrologically, what is going on right now. So we are coming upon one of the most powerful new moons, like, in years. And so that causes a lot of energy to ramp up. Pluto is in retrograde. Pluto rules dead things. Hauntings are everywhere right now. And then it's also the fact that Beltane, which is a time when the veil, May Day, when the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest. And are we on the 3rd? We're on the 29th, so we're 2 days away.
So that date is the thinnest, if you will, between the veil of the living and the dead.
Samhain or Halloween and Beltane or May Day is when the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest. So it would make perfect sense that it's been ramping up. And I bet you it's been ramping up for over a week.
Okay. You mentioned something just a minute ago, before we get too far off subject, but there's changes in the astrological world, right?
Yes.
Where we're coming into a season, possibly, or a period where activity can be very ramped up.
Yep.
As a group, we've noticed that for quite a few months now, kind of this this ever inclined shift in more activity. How long does that cycle take to get to where it's now ramping up, like now? Is we talking 10 years, 30 years, 150?
So it depends upon the aspect. So things ebb and flow with the new and full moons. So that's every 28 days that a full moon happens. But things like Pluto going retrograde,
Yes.
that's until October.
Okay. And will it happen again next year, or is it
Pluto's out there. Pluto moves slower. That won't happen for many
massive
years.
orbit? Massive orbit.
Yep, so that won't happen for many years. Certain things like the sun, the moon, obviously those happen on a regular basis. Mercury retrograde happens 3 to 5 times a year, I believe. And so those things happen much more frequently than like Pluto or Jupiter
Got it.
doing that. And this is for people who believe in resonate with astrology. We're not saying that that's the only thing that can cause a house to do
Sure,
this.
yeah.
But it's something to be aware of, especially if things are starting to amp up during a dead planet's rule.
Right.
It's something just to be respect.
And so much so that we don't even consider in the astrological world Pluto as a planet anymore. So it's
Yep.
kind of a double whammy in that sense. Is there any possibility, because we're now wrapping up through what's called a solar maximum. This is a scientific cycle of every 11 years that the sun goes through these periods of becoming highly active, highly charged, throwing EMPs and other electrical type activity towards the Earth. Does that have anything to do with what could increase activity, in your opinion, or that you may experience or be aware of?
In my opinion, yes. Anything to do with astrology and the movements of the sun can affect energy. Now, it's not the only thing, and sometimes it's super subtle. Like, some people do not, like, even consider Mercury retrograde, like, when things happen, because it doesn't affect them very much. Other people, it goes very poorly for them.
Yeah, more influence to them, I would assume.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And with that, don't become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let energy take you where it will, but don't be like, it's Mercury retrograde, everything's gonna be awful.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
With you sleeping on the couch, are you hearing anything coming from downstairs? Because I'm assuming it's vacant now, right?
Yeah, it's vacant. Yeah, you can hear noises and you can hear bangs. And then it's starting up here. It sounds like a cupboard will slam, and I've had stuff now fall off the walls.
So here's the thing about a house in which you're living, you're having people live there, it's not abandoned or anything, is that you pick up a lot of energy of the people that live in the house. Like, going into each room, I can feel who lives in this room and their attitude and the behavior and the energy that they have. And so it's... Zach, why don't you come over here and point the camera over here? At that closet. Okay. There is a spirit in the closet. Yay. Benign, but there. So we will definitely be coming back and chatting with him. It is a him. But he's not malevolent in any way. But it's not negative. Like in this room, it's just
In this
a
one,
spirit.
this
Correct.
what you're feeling in this room is
Yep, the
just kinda
actual,
hanging
like,
out.
I can see him. He's there. He's in the closet.
Love dogs. I have dogs, but we'll probably have to find a place for the dog that night.
Yeah.
Just for multiple reasons.
You know, and then I'm gonna have to dig out this one video. This was in 17, and the couch was like right here, and Samara was like just staring at the corner or whatever. She was growling.
Yeah.
And then it went into the kitchen, and then you can see like this black, kind of cloudy, whatever, and it was that corner.
Okay, so there was we'll call an apparition of some kind. That was
But-
cloudy black.
Yeah, and
Was
I
it
have to-
solid, or was it at
and
least transparent
It
a
was
little bit?
transparent, and it was so weird because it was like, oh God, it had to have been 3 in the afternoon, 4. It's about like right now, and there's no sunlight that I have that one window, so there's no sunlight that comes here, and I'm looking at the screen of my phone, and there's a light flashing, but you then to look and see no light flashing.
Okay.
And then, but you'll see like this cloud. It's just strange.
All right, we're gonna end back in the living room. See, compared to the
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
compared to the rest of the house, the living room feels pretty okay.
Okay.
So this and the dining room feel very airy. Like, I feel like nothing's getting trapped in this room,
Okay.
which there can still be spirits like walking through, but no one's hanging out.
Yeah. There's no reason to be attracted or stay here.
Yep, it's like, this is on the way to that door. That's
Got it.
why they would be here.
Okay.
Type thing. So that is the walkthrough. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. The API team's gonna come in right now. We're gonna go through and start setting up the gear. I will tell you that, again, remind you, Lily has had no information about any of this whatsoever. The mother herself has been feeling some amazing activity, and for her it's frightening. And when I say amazing, it's not in a good way. We're starting to get physical activity to the family, to the son in the room that you felt. There were scratches all over his back. We have pictures and images of that.
Wow.
The mother is being pushed and choked in her bed, which you described in that bedroom.
Yeah, that was not pleasant.
I kind of got chills because for me, knowing and working with this family for the last 3 weeks and the history that we've already been gathering and working with them, and you not having any information about this whatsoever, really just takes me back. You know, I'm still processing what you just went through, and while you're doing that in my mind, I'm literally just kind of shuddering inside.
Yeah.
Because the family is terrified. They're experiencing some very, very terrible activity here,
Yeah.
particularly around the mother,
Yeah.
who you met. And
Lovely woman, by the way.
she truly is. And for you to validate that and actually make the comment about feeling choked and pressure is exactly what happened in the bedroom when she first started getting the negative activity, and has since been sleeping upstairs. She's having a very hard time sleeping down in the bedroom now.
Yeah.
So thank you again. For me, it's very validating, and it's confirming for this family. And now we can begin the part where we can collect and gather some of this evidence and find out what needs to happen, whether it's a cleansing of the house, or if there has to be other activities where the family who is religious will take it with the church and see if there's things that they can do to help support them through this. If we can't tonight, or even tomorrow night if we have to return, get this to remove itself on its own. So thank you, Lily.
And can I say something to
Yeah.
everyone who is watching, as you're saying, like the validation and stuff? So we do this on a regular basis, and we come into contact with spirits and entities and negativity. And so it doesn't faze me as much to walk into a room where I'm being choked, even though it is very awful. So if you're not used to it, it is absolutely horrifying and scary and just stunting your ability to be able to function, having your energy snuffed out like that. Like, all of that is absolutely valid. Just because we're not down there doesn't mean it's not super intense. Like, walking up and me saying like, oh, I'm feeling choked, that is a big deal. I have wards and shields on me at all time. If something is aggressive enough that it could touch me, that's saying something. And so with everyone having these experiences, if it's scary, that's justified. Come and ask the API team and me to come in, and we will gladly help you get some peace of mind, because what's happening in this house is not okay, and this family does not deserve it. And so we're going to do everything in our power to make it as peaceful as we can. Absolutely.
Yeah, they are crying out for help, and unfortunately for them, this is such a taboo subject. Until you experience it, until you become, we'll say, a victim of something of this level, you don't know where to go, because the normal avenues of fire and rescue and police, those can't help you, right? This is a paranormal experience this family's having, and we're going to be here to help them where we can. So thank you guys. Stay tuned. It's coming up. The investigation is starting. Again, American Paranormal Investigative Team, Lily of the Light. So glad you're able to join us. We'll be back in just a few short minutes. See you soon.